Welcome to Simply Caroline, a podcast dedicated to women empowerment where we will discuss a bunch of different subjects such as life, parenting, love, business, money, relationships, healing, recovery, addiction, entrepreneurship, and so much more. A podcast I'll do my best to keep simple, fun, and relatable and bring you tools to help you better your life. So thank you for being here. And here's your host, myself, Caroline Blanchard. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Thank you for being with us again this week. I have such a special guest, Cheryl Dacey. How are you?
Doing great. Glad to see you.
So I met Cheryl online. Yes, I met a lot of people online, but thank God for the internet. And it's funny because it's such a new way of doing that I feel like I've known you if we met face to face. So Cheryl is part of the Powerful Women series. She's in the book 22 Powerful Women in Network Marketing shares their key to success. And she is a real powerhouse. So not only in her business, in everything, and I can't wait for you to meet her and get to know her better. So Cheryl, how long have you been in network marketing?
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you for having me today. So I was in network marketing years and years and years and years ago for, kind of like a blip on the screen, just sticking my toe in the water. But, it was great because it gave me a little bit of experience to know what I was looking for when my company came to me. And I have been with them for 13 and a half years now.
Nice. And it's going very well, as I know.
Yes, it is going very well. Yeah.
So
I'm very fortunate.
When you say that you put your toes in the water at first, talk a bit about that, because I feel that a lot of people are in that situation of having a job or having whatever occupation they have, and they kind of dab their toe in network marketing and out and in and out. What was that?
Yeah, so great question. I actually had two really good friends. These guys had partnered up and they were in a network marketing telecom company. And, I just kind of followed them and wanted to see what they were doing. I didn't want to join in that company with them, but I learned a lot. So when I say sticking my toe in the water, it was more like, how can I educate myself about this business because it seems so different. I was actually exposed to it at a really, really young age when my parents, who were in the insurance business, actually started a network marketing business. And I just remember we would roller skate in our basement around all of these soap boxes because they were in Amway. And I could remember my dad having meetings in the living room and stirring soap powder around and showing the difference of, how clean the products were and everything. And I never had a really bad taste for it because I saw how much fun they were having, and then with my friends, I saw that they worked really, really hard to get to the top of this company. So I also knew that it could happen, but it took a lot of hard work, especially initially. So it was more of an education process. And then I did join them and their next company, which was all about music and downloading music, which was pretty fascinating, but it was before iTunes. So they were a little bit early, and which just made it really difficult. You would have to go out and sit down with people and really spend a lot of time teaching them about the technology and how to, do a download, which was not as easy as it is today. So, but great experience and education,
I love that you say that because for me, you just mentioned two things that, gave a bad rap to network marketing, and no offense to any company, but when we think about, the older network marketing, we think Amway. And then we think, oh, don't get into that. You're going to get, sucked in and blah, blah, because I remember that, they were one of the first, and maybe they didn't have all the right ways to attract people to meetings. But the idea was, and I remember my mom bought some products, and it was a whole new thing of buying products from a person that would come to your house, and it almost seemed like illegal. You know, it almost seemed like, you know, are they dealing drugs? They're bringing products to our place. So that was a whole different era that it is now, as
Right.
now. But thank God that, you know, people like your parents and everything kept on building and kept on being successful in that, because it really opened the doors for us to be able to, you know, do it more easily, I should say. Not
Yeah.
less work, more easily, because now there's less education to do, although there's still tons of education to do, because a lot of people still think it's a scam, it's a pyramid. What do you have to say to that?
You know, I think it goes back to a lack of education. When people say that, I think, oh my goodness, you need to be educated, right? Because I think when you take the time to educate yourself about the network marketing industry, you realize that it is absolutely the best way to do business. You know, you're alleviating all these middlemen. Um, so there's money to pay individuals to promote products. And typically network marketing products are so good, or the company you wind up with should be so good that they actually require a little bit of explanation to understand that, hey, you don't need to use as much of this product because the ingredients in it are so powerful, and really produce results. At least I know that to be the case for our company. So again, you know, understanding the industry, which my husband was one of those people, by the way. You know, I joined my company, Rodan and Fields, and he was like, wow, you know, here I was working a full-time job. And then we had two businesses that we were running in the hospitality industry, and I had two young kids. So it's a little bit part of my story. And he was just like, how, you know, not that you can't do that, because I believe you can do anything you put your mind to, but when are you going to do that? You know, and again, back to your comment about the scam, he's like, you know, nobody ever makes any money in those businesses. I just don't want you to waste your time. You don't have time, you know? So, yeah. And it wasn't, I honestly tell you, it was 4 years of me doing my business before he actually sat down to educate himself about the industry. And you know, and then he spent the next like 10 years apologizing for it. But he was like, oh my gosh, why didn't you make me understand this? He goes, it's phenomenal. You know, like it just makes sense. Um, so I always just look at that as an opportunity to take the time to educate people about what the industry really looks like and what they need to look for, you know, in a company to align themselves with. Because
Yeah,
it is really, truly the best business model out there.
I know, and I love that you're saying that, because I started 10 years ago, and I was one of the skeptical, because the only experience I had really was Tupperware, my mom buying stuff to just be nice to my cousin, and she didn't have the money. And then so, my thinking was really like, stay away from people who invite you. And you know, but Tupperware is really like the best containers ever. And then
Totally, right?
yeah, and then my sister was doing Avon when we were young. I was 10 and she was 15, and she would make me deliver her products to clients. And back then it was door to door. I hated it. I hated it. So she gave me the worst part to do. So, you know, I didn't understand that it was actually a very legitimate business. But I think that, you know, the scam part comes from the place of people talking about it also wrongly, like giving the wrong idea of like, oh my gosh, you know what? Start with this company and your life will just change, and you can have your boat and your jet and, you know, a house and whatever.
And all within a few weeks, right?
Yeah, exactly, which is not true. And I think that that's
Right.
where the disconnect is, because starting a business in network marketing, first of all, if you want to go to the top, you need to be an entrepreneur, you know. And yes, it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you need like the experience and everything behind, but you need to have this fire inside of you that wants to build something, and there is work required. And I think
Absolutely.
that's where the disconnect is, because you know, I had people joining my business and being, after a month, being like, you know what, this isn't working for me. And I'm like, well, it's not supposed to work for you. You're supposed to work for it.
I love when people say that. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. What was your experience with that?
I mean, totally exactly like what you're saying. I think it comes down to a lack of education about the industry, but then it also comes down to a lack of or misinformation about the way the business or your company is presented to someone, right? I mean, a lot of people, look, we both know because we know these people who are able to get into business like this. And because they have a big following, they have a lot of credibility, they can grow, right out of the gate really, really fast. And so when that doesn't happen to the average person, people think, well, it's not working for me, right? Because they saw it work like that for somebody else. So, but really it's the majority, of my business is made up from people who get into the business. They see the potential of what they can gain, not only personally, but financially, and the fun of helping other people do it who didn't think that they possibly could. That's where the real success comes from, is the people, who stick with it, develop their skills, and really hone in on the few things that need to be done and do those consistently. I always say, our box of products when they show up should say, these products work and the business does if you do, because like you said, you have to work. I mean, money just doesn't fall from the sky. Yeah, there's a few people that will happen to, for because of their networks. But, we always say it's a simple business because it really is. If you take a little bit of time to learn, your products and learn your company's system, which hopefully your company has a super simple system to follow. And then it's just a matter of just, having conversations with people, right? I think, you mentioned something about the old school way of doing network marketing initially, which is, we kind of sit here, we could joke about now, but you know what, it worked. But the climate, culturally was a lot different. People weren't afraid to go to someone's home that something creepy could happen, So, and a lot of those basics still work today. I mean, fortunately, because of social media and the ability to social network, it makes things a lot easier. But yeah, the climate has changed, but a lot of those, basics are still tried and true today, right?
I know, and there's about 12 comments that I would have, and I will have to pick my one direction. But I like that you said, there's two things that I'm going to bring here. One is like, yes, there's people that, start and they go to the top very fast. In my experience, after meeting probably at least 100 top leaders that went into the 6, 7 figures, I feel like none of them just walked in and did it without experience. Some people will start in a new company and go to the top, but that's because they paid their due in another company.
Right. And they bring all those people with them.
Yeah, which is not cool.
No,
But
not the way it should be done.
yeah, kind of the law of the 10,000 hours, which I truly believe. I think it's a basic, like you need to invest 10,000 hours to become excellent at something. And we see it through school and stuff like that. And it's 5 years of work. And even like if you look at the conventional jobs, it's rare that you're at the top, like right when you start in. And
right.
That's what I want.
Most of us have to stop at the bottom and work our way up, right?
Exactly. And that's a bit what I want you to, touch on right now is, what do you think are the basic skills? Because yes, we'll come back to it after, how to choose the right company for you. But what do you think are the basic skills to build a business, like any company in network marketing? Because, the basic is all the same. You and I could go to any other company, and if we're passionate about the product, we could build a business because we have the foundation. So what do you think are the foundational skills to really succeed?
I think the foundational skills needed in network marketing are pretty much the same foundational skills that it took me to be successful and climb the corporate ladder in corporate America, right? I mean, you have to have a belief in yourself, and a really great mindset that I can do this. I think that's kind of the beauty of going to some of these meetings and, listening to the people that are presenting, because I never went to a meeting that I didn't think, wow, if he can do this, I can do this, or if she can do this and she's done that well, there's no reason why I couldn't, because, they're all great people, but there's nothing like extraordinary about anyone, So I think it's, a lot of belief in yourself, feeling confident that you are with a great company that has the financial stability behind it, incredible partners leading the charge, and great staff. And that's true in corporate America as well, right? I mean, I've been in lots of corporate jobs where, I thought, oh my gosh, I need to get this guy out of my way because he's just kind of an obstacle. I could do his job better than he could, right? So it's not any different, So I'd say, great mindset, belief in yourself, and then just, being coachable. I think, sometimes people are afraid to start something new because there's a lot to learn. And there's really not that much to learn. I think I tell people that join my team, when you're new, it's the best time because, I've been in the business for 13 and a half years. I can go on and on and on about the products, on and on about the company, the industry. But that's just a lot of extra stuff, right? It's just a few things that I tell people about the products that make them, excited about them. So, this little analogy about verbal vomiting. You don't have to verbal vomit all this information all over people. And I think the more you know, the more dangerous you become because you have a tendency to do that, right? So, being coachable and just being ready to have some fun, because we have a lot of fun in our business, and you don't always have fun in corporate America, and you don't always have fun as a traditional business owner either, because I've been there and done that, and that's tough. You want to talk about something that's tough? That's tough. You're wearing a lot of hats. You're working 24/7. I mean, in our industry, this business, you work harder in the beginning, and then if you're working more than 5-10 hours a week, later on, you haven't done something right in the beginning,
Exactly, because a lot of our business is also leverage and compound effect. So
Yeah.
yes, in the first 5 years, you will work more. And I think that that's where a lot of people fail, and I don't even think you can fail in our business. I always say you can't fail
Unless you quit.
unless you quit. Exactly, because as long
Right.
as you stay, you're on a learning curve. But the thing is, like, people quit way too soon, and that's why. But on the other end, that's what makes it an opportunity. And it's funny, the CEO of my company, Jeff Olson, always says, quit wishing what you don't want. And we're wishing that
Be
it
careful what you wish for, right?
yeah, it's like we wish it would be easier and this and that and that, but if all of that was true, it wouldn't be an opportunity. So
Right.
to be an opportunity, yes, the top 5% will rise, and it's okay, because it's like that in pretty much every section of of life in general. But
Right.
one thing that I like that you said is, well, I like a lot of things that you said, but
Thank you.
but you're talking about mindset, and for me, that's one thing that I absolutely love in network marketing versus corporate America, because I did my time there as well. It's like, and I was managing, big things, but they never gave me a personal development class to better myself. They gave me a lot of
Right.
classes to, better my sales technique, my negotiation technique, my leader technique, my blah, blah, blah techniques, but nothing about me. And when I started in network marketing, I read my first self-development book, and I was just like blown away. I was like, this is
Right.
gold, And so talk a bit about, the importance of self-development, because every single time I think about it or talk about it, I'm like, everyone in the world, regardless of your occupation, should be doing that. And it's not something that we are naturally thought to do. We're only thought to do that if you encounter a big crash in your life, or if you fall into depression. But what I'm trying to say is that I think that the taboo thinking on that is, you need self-help only if you have issues.
Right. Well, and as humans, we don't always think that we have issues, even when we have them, right? But I love what you said, because in corporate America, I got so much sales training, right? Like value added selling and how to do this and how to do that. And that's all great, but it didn't really help me in network marketing. People were always like, "Oh, you did so great because you were such a fabulous salesperson, and you were at the top of all your companies." But you know what? It actually worked against me, because when I got into network marketing, sales in corporate America is all about convincing someone that you are the best company and you have the best product and you're going to be the one that takes the best care of them and you have the best customer service. And in network marketing, it's not about convincing, because the products work, right? So not a lot of convincing needed. And I like what you said about personal development. I was blown away when I got into, I was like, how have I made it this far and been this successful with zero personal development? Really, let's go back to school. This is where they should start teaching personal development, right? So, and as you know, the great byproduct of that is now that we have been through all this personal development, we're teaching our kids, right, at an earlier age, which is great. So they're better people than we are. But the personal development portion is so huge. Some of the books that I read that have just helped me along the way, that I never would have, no one ever outside of network marketing ever suggested a personal development book to me. I don't know, maybe they didn't think I needed any personal development, which I know that can't be the case because I've learned so much from it, but it's crazy and it's so good. And you just, if you're open to, being a better person, which I think that's what we're all here for every day, every day trying to be a better version of ourselves today than we were yesterday, and helping other people do that too. It's just gold. It's priceless.
Yeah. And the thing is, when we talk about personal development and building our business, most of the books that I read, aside from, I don't know, John Maxwell, and because he's a lot into leadership and stuff like that, so it's more practical. A lot of the books have nothing to do with network marketing. Like I'm thinking Brene Brown, how to deal with shame and how to deal with your self-esteem and increase your confidence. It has nothing to do with network marketing. But the one thing that we recognize in that industry, and I was told that like when I started, and I was just like, what are they talking about? They clearly don't know anything. But it was just like, you can grow your business bigger than yourself, because when you do have limiting beliefs, or when you don't believe in yourself enough, or when you don't feel like you deserve success, all these little things that are inside of us, sometimes put as kids, that will stunt your business at some point. And if you don't
it's truly the voice in our heads, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Put very simply, the voice in our head.
And I always say, stop believing the lies you're telling yourself. That's like the biggest thing. So it is, and that's why we always say this space right here between your ears is like the most valuable resource that you have, because we have a brain that can hold a lot, do a lot. What is it they say? We use our brain at about 5%. I don't know. Percent of the capacity. Yeah, that it's capable. So, but the nuggets that you get, like some of the books, and you're right, none of them are about network marketing. My favorites are like Atomic Habits and The Slight Edge and The Compound Effect, and none of them anywhere mention anything about network marketing. So the beauty is, though, is that we have this great industry and business that we can apply it to, which makes it even more valuable, you know. And I think that's what I love about the most about our book, because of all these books that I've read, you know, the women in this book have read, a lot of us have read the same books, and then some different ones too. But the nuggets in our book, it's like you've got 22 fabulous, brilliant women that have come together to share all their golden nuggets, right? And then I think the most powerful thing is at the end, being one of those women, and then having the opportunity to read more of the women's stories outside of how we were networking and learning about each other. You think, wow, here it is. It's all in one book, people. This is like your entrepreneur Bible, you know? So I love it. That's what I tell everybody, is this book is great because it's the only one you need.
Yeah, and honestly, I edited and produced it, so I read it more than once, and it's still on my.
So nobody knows better than you.
Well, yeah, mine is the memory loss, but you know, my point is it's on the bedside, my bedside table, and I will sometimes just open it to whatever chapter and read a part of it, because it is super inspiring, whether you're in that industry or not. Like
Oh,
my sister
absolutely.
is not in the industry, and my friend is not in the industry. And they're both loving the book because they're like, oh my gosh, it's so inspiring to read women, you know, that are so strong and confident in themselves, and that, you know, there's no hesitation. There's no hesitation. It's
Right.
like, I do have the recipe, and but it's done very humbly.
Mm, for sure.
Can I say
For sure.
humbly? Is it a word?
Humbly. I like it. I think it works.
It's done in a very
It's okay if
humble.
we make up new words.
Yeah, because it's done in a very humble way, because it's not that we have the answer to everything. It's just
Right.
that we're passing on the knowledge that we feel we have acquired. So that's the part that I really love. It's done very, you know, simply, but it's all people that are at the top. And that, for me, it's like, regardless of, you know, we don't even talk about the amount of money that you guys are making, because
Right.
for me, you know, it's amazing, but it's also irrelevant. For me, what really transpires in that book is that everyone found themselves, and everyone feels good in their skin, and is where they want to be in life, which that is so rare in itself,
Right.
you know.
Well, and they all were driven by something that they were passionate about, and wasn't necessarily the products of the business that they got into that they were passionate about. Because, you know, I mean, I wash my face and I use pretty mediocre products that I realize now, but you know, I wasn't really passionate about skincare when I got into business. I mean, I am now, but what I was passionate about was creating a situation that would give me more time, freedom, because my kids were little and we had a lot going on. And as much as I loved getting these great pictures of my nanny out having fun with my kids, I mean, I had my kids a little bit later in life. So I was like, that should be me, you know? So I felt like I was really, really missing out on precious time that you can never get back. So there was a big motivator to get back home with my kids, but also, you know, I was a big breadwinner in our family. And so I needed something that would provide me flexibility and unlimited income potential. And the goal really was to continue to be a major provider for our family, in addition to my husband. But also, you know, I just knew that I wanted to create a situation where my children could have options and could go to any college that they wanted to go to, without any financial constraints. And we love travel, so, you know, we wanted to travel the world. And I always dreamt about, when my kids were studying something, I wanted to be able to go and show them, you know, what it was really like there. And so, you know,
Really
this
cool.
business, yeah, and this business has allowed that to happen. You know, my daughter is at a fabulous college, private Christian college in Nashville, Tennessee. And my son is in the processes of making a decision. And, you know, they're all out of state, private colleges, big money, right? But it doesn't matter. And they had studied French, French. I wanted to say they had studied France. They'd studied French all through school. And so years ago, before the pandemic, we had taken them to France and spent like 3 weeks there. And it was just, I mean, the experiences, and you can't put a price on that, right? Those kind of experiences are priceless. So, not only would a corporate job not get me to that point financially, even though I was in some really great, vice president of sales and marketing positions with, well-known telecom companies. Even if I was there financially, time-wise, I could have never left and gone somewhere for 3 weeks, right? So without somebody clawing at me going, how can you can't do that, so
Yeah.
it's
And I
great.
think that, the basic of everything you said, it's like, yes, the experience, but it's just having the opportunity to be there while your kids are growing up, because that's time that we will never, ever get back. And for me, that's the most priceless thing. It's, whether you are at the top of your company or not, if it allows you to spend more time with your kids, for me, that's the main
It's
thing.
priceless, right?
Yeah.
And it's my kids that really inspired me on to keep going in my business because, I remember the first car I earned, they were like cheering me on. And it was them saying, Mommy, are you going to get the Lexus this month? That was our car program, was the Lexus at the time. And I was like, oh man, I have got to earn this Lexus, because they knew it was a thing. And so, when your kids see you run for goals and achieve goals and work hard, it's setting an example for them.
Mm-mm.
And that's priceless too, right?
Absolutely. That's something that is not, you can't teach in school.
Right.
So Cheryl, let's go back to, how do you choose the right company? Because they're
Great
not all,
question.
like, there's thousands of company in network marketing, and like in any industry, some are not good and some are scams and some aren't. So
Right.
how to swim through all of this and make the
Yeah,
right
yeah.
decision?
I mean, another great question because you know this as a top leader in your company, and being known for what you did before. When you're highly successful, someone from all the companies out there are coming after you all the time. So there are a lot of companies out there, and it can be really confusing. And the thing for me, it just, I always said I was in business with my husband, and I thought I would never really trust anybody else to be in business with because, we've all had some bad situations happen, where you trust people and you're like, oh, well, that would, I could tell stories and stories about that. I know you could too, because, that's part of the bumps and bruises of growing up in corporate America and trying to, being an entrepreneur and starting your own businesses and stuff. So, but I think, so who you get in bed with is really important, So for me, like, Dr. Katie Rodan and Dr. Kathy Fields, I mean, they were the, top dermatologists in the world. They had created Proactive Solutions, which was the acne skincare regimen that was sold in 80% of households around the globe. And they had already created $1 billion brand, right? So what that said to me is, wow, that's some credibility. They've been successful. They built $1 billion company once. They're going to do it again, right? These ladies are brilliant. They know how to do it. So I think, who your partners are is incredibly important. I think the second thing is, can they financially withstand, and do they have the finances to continue to develop, award-winning, results-producing products over and over and over again? So they also had a history of that. So I knew that was a really great thing. And, age-wise, I was at the point where I needed to start looking at some anti-aging products. So I was like, okay, this could be a good fit. And then I think, and this is one that I see a lot of people miss. I think to really be great the company needs to have a consumable product, right? Like, I mean, people wash their face, they wash their hair. I mean, that goes down the drain. Obviously, they're seeing great results, but they're going to run out of the product and they have to replenish it, right? So that makes for continuous orders. People see results, they fall in love with the products. Happy customers are happy referral sources, right? And customers turn into business partners and people who want to decide, okay, I love these products. I see what you do. Doesn't look that hard, so I want to do it too. And whether that's somebody that gets in and wants to just make a little money to get their products for free, or somebody that has a big goal like, you and I did to, change the course of our family's lives. I mean, the beauty of it is it's there for the taking with the right company. So I think who you're partnered with, their commitment to, research and development with their products and really developing things that are unlike anything else on the market. Because as an example, we just launched hair care 3 weeks ago. Well, 10 years in the making from, our scientists and our doctors. So I know for them, they won't go into a category unless they can walk away with it being number one in it, right? So that's I mean, those are, I could go on, right? But I would say those are the main things for
No, and I
sure.
think you're right on the spot. Find a company that has amazing leadership, amazing skills at the top, because they're the one who will navigate, your business
They're
basically.
taking you where you need to go.
Yeah, exactly. And a company that has a strong financial backbone. Unfortunately, I saw people like investing a lot of work in something and then have the company close. And it's sad. And it's, sometimes it's something you can't predict, but it's really sad when it does happen.
Yeah.
So I think that, I would summarize everything you said with do your homework. Do your homework as if, in conventional business, they call it market research. Like you
Due
wouldn't,
diligence, right?
yeah, you wouldn't just like launch a product and open on a certain street corner just because you feel like it. You would make your homework first to see if it's needed, if it's the right street, and all of this. So it's the same thing for this industry. And what I would add to what you said is really be passionate genuinely about your product.
Oh, yeah.
Because
When you see results from it, that's what makes you passionate.
yeah,
When you see the confidence that you can give someone by clearing up their skin and making them feel good about themselves, and I'll take it, a step further take us back to the beginning of our conversation when we were talking about, and I mentioned a couple of friends of mine that were in the telecom business. And, one of those friends, in the 13 and a half years that I have been with my company, he's been in 12 different things. Okay. Loves network marketing, but kind of that person that wants to get in, make a lot of money. But every single one of those companies, for one reason or another, mostly to do with, not having the stability and the financial backing behind them and not having credible people at the top, have gone under or have been taken down by, who's our governing body? The
FDA? No, FTC.
FTC. Yes, thank you. It was on the tip of my tongue. I couldn't think of it. Have been taken down, and then, so that's hard to start over and over and over again. So yeah, I mean, it really is about doing your homework. It really is. Do that due diligence. Take the time. Talk to people, and align yourself with a great leader, right? Someone who's been in the company for a while, who's had a track record of success, and who can lead you to that same type of success.
Yeah, and someone who will believe in you until you believe in yourself.
Yes.
And that's
Yes. Because I had that person.
Yeah.
And she did. She believed in me more than I believed in myself, which was good. I needed that.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because it perfectly aligns with what I was going to say. Even if you were a super successful corporate leader, it doesn't mean you walked in this industry with confidence and all of this. Quite
Mhm.
often, I told a lot of people in my business, they were like, "Oh my gosh, what will I say?" No, 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 no. I'm like, it's not the first time that you put cream on your face. Just talk, just be normal. Just
Yeah.
talk
People
normal.
overthink it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it seems like no matter how successful you were in another business, you're walking in a black hole and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything anymore. And so
Uh-huh.
that's why you need to have someone who will believe in you, no
It's
matter how
true.
good you are.
Because I walked in with a lot of confidence because I'd had success in everything that I did. And then, shortly into it, I was like, I kind of went like, wah, 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 oh my gosh, this is so different. And I had to adjust my sales like I had, you know, adjust the sales to the ship, right? And because I realized, okay, wait, stop trying to convince people, And so I had to, do a little retraining and some of that personal development, like we talked about. But how fun and the growth that happens in this kind of business is unlike any other business.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's a good adrenaline rush.
Oh, it is. It is. And let's face it, it's a lot more fun to sell something every day than some of the big ticket items that I sold in my career, where it would take months and months to close a deal. So that kind of keeps that mojo and that adrenaline, pumping through your bloodstream, every day, which is a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, listen, I realize that we did a podcast to really promote network marketing here, but that's literally because both of us are believing in it. Get the book on Amazon, 22 Powerful Women in Network Marketing Reveal Their Key to Success. It's an amazing book. It's very inspiring, whether you are or aren't in the industry. If you are in the
Absolutely.
industry, you will get amazing tools and amazing nuggets, and for sure you will identify to at least one of those 22 stories. It's all very honest and vulnerable stories, so I absolutely love it. And Cheryl, you've coached people, well, basically for 13 and a half years in your business, because that's what we are as well, like business coach without the official title. But you've also helped a lot of entrepreneurs, develop their skills, and you've put together, I'll let you say it, what you want to
Yeah,
share.
yeah. Actually, I am a certified business coach. I just don't do it outside of my team anymore. So I do love. I mean, it's just a passion of mine to coach people. I love it. I love it. But yeah, if people want to go to my website, which is CherylDacey.com, I have a free download on there. It's called 15 Skills Every Entrepreneur Needs to Succeed. It's a great piece, and so yeah, CherylDacey.com. So it's available to anyone.
Well, thank you. That's very generous of you. And it was a pleasure having you today. And yes, you did give your website, but you also have Instagram, right? If people want to follow you.
I do. I'm on Instagram as Cheryl Jansen, Jansen Dacey, Dacey, and Cheryl with a C. Yes. So,
Yeah.
and this has been so fun. I mean, I love you. It was such an easy decision to be in the book when you asked, because we had such a great connection. And I think we think a lot alike about a lot of things. So this has been a lot of fun. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you. I love you back. And yes, it's like it was an instant connection. But you know what? And it's funny because I say that with a few people that I meet, but it's because I'm finally swimming within the people that I that have the same mindset and that I identify to, because now I'm choosing, my circle of people. So that makes it so much easier. And that's probably why I say I love you to a lot of people, but it's really true. But
Right.
it's because when you think alike and when you have the same mindsets, the relationships get stronger faster, and you find a bond faster as well. So honestly, like in with this book, The 22 Powerful Women, I feel like we've built a sisterhood that was almost instant, but like we know now we have each other's back, which is funny because we're all in different companies. So
I
technically we should
know.
all be like super competitive, And we're not. We're even doing masterminds together to help each
Yeah,
other.
I know.
So,
It's so great. But you know what, when good people come to get together with other good people, I mean, just magic happens, right? And that's kind of what's happening in our mastermind. That's kind of, what's created all the magic in this book. And why I love it so much, because at the end of the day, you want to go, there's a lot of great nuggets in there, but you know what? They're kind of condensed, right? Like, to the major top, 5, 6, 7 true nuggets that it takes to be successful. So
exactly.
it's gold, and you did a great job with it. And thank you for having me be a part of that. It's been a wonderful experience, and I love our mastermind.
Well, my pleasure, and it's an honor to have you. And so, Cheryl Dacey, thank you so much. I will put Cheryl's information if you want to contact her. And if you have any questions, comments, or if there's a subject you would like to hear about, send me an email at info@simplycaroline.com. I love receiving your emails. And I will see you all next week. Cheryl, have a beautiful week.
You too. Thanks again. Bye, Caroline.
Bye.